Kia ora, welcome back to ECG Boot Camp, an introduction to ECG interpretation by a med student for med students. This is video number 7, cardiac axis. Recapping what we've learnt so far, we talked about a system for interpreting ECG, RRAPWQST. I'm going to keep repeating that every time because I want you to keep repeating it so that it becomes automatic when you're reading ECGs. We talked about ways to calculate the rate, either 300 divided by the number of large squares between R waves, or QRS complex in numbers in the rhythm strip times 6. We made a start on learning to recognise some of the patterns needed to analyse a rhythm. Is it fast or slow, regular or irregular? Is the QRS wide or narrow? Are there P waves? And what is their relationship to the QRS complex? So thank you for bearing with me through all of that rhythm talk over the last few videos. And now we're moving on to talk about the cardiac axis. So what is the cardiac axis? Well, what we're talking about with axis is that when we've got the heart in that frontal or coronal or vertical plane, which is how the limb leads and the augmented limb leads, so 1, 2, 3 are the limb leads, and AVL, AVR and AVF, the augmented limb leads. When we've got that plane and that kind of circle there, we can figure out what is the average depolarization direction in the heart, and so that's referred to as the cardiac axis. And the normal cardiac axis is kind of in the realm of about 30 degrees here to a little bit somewhere into this bit here, but let's just say 90 to minus 30 here. And there are a few different ways to analyze your cardiac axis or figure out your cardiac axis. Some of them are complicated or take a bit more memorizing. And then there's this really simple one which a lot of people will use. You'll hear it kind of referred to as like the thumbs up, thumbs down method. I'm not very good at showing my thumbs from this angle, but that's the one that I'm going to teach you. Just be aware that it's not going to capture some of those subtle physiological right or left axis deviations necessarily, but it is going to give you a pretty good rough idea when you're working on the fly of how the axis is going. All right. Well, my page is stuck. Okay. So all you need to know for this method is that lead 1, if it's positive, points out this way, and lead AVF, if it's positive, points down this way. So if the biggest deflection of the QRS complex of both 1 and AVF are positive, then your axis has got to fall in this quadrant, which is normal axis. Right. So using this method, and you can literally draw it on your notebook or whatever while you're trying to figure it out, and I frequently do. So let's say that our AVF is positive. So AVF positive, but our lead 1 is negative. All right, so we know that our positive for lead 1 is over there, so if it's negative, we're going to be pointing that way. So if AVF is positive, but lead 1 is negative, then we're going to be in this quadrant here. And so this is right axis deviation. So remember it's the anatomical left and right. So we're looking at them from the front. So this is their right. And so over here, So now let's say we've got AVF is negative, but lead 1 is positive. In that case, AVF negative, we're going to be going up that way. Lead 1 positive, we're going to be going over to the right here. And so this is going to be left axis deviation. So that's just our really simple way of doing this. So having a look at it now, we've got lead 1, which is positive. We've got AVF, which is positive. Drawing it out again. 1, AVF. It's going that way, it's going that way. So this ECG has got a normal cardiac axis. So I hope that that has been a helpful introduction to interpreting or figuring out the cardiac axis. And in the next video, we're going to move on to have a chat about P waves. Thanks for being here. Cheers.